Hi, it's Antonio with KauaiHypnotherapy.org. So today I'm going to show you a very powerful technique that can be used to change your perspective on a particular issue you're dealing with. Keep in mind that although this is a powerful technique, it is no substitution for any kind of medical treatment. So if you're dealing with some really severe issues, if you're feeling a little down, that's one thing. But if you're truly depressed, or if you have a long history of depression and you're feeling suicidal, or you got thoughts of self-harm, this might help you in the future. I would highly recommend, if you're feeling suicidal now, or if you're feeling any thoughts of harming yourself, call the National Suicide Prevention Line. I'll have it on the screen. Honestly, if you're feeling that depressed, reach out. There's no shame in admitting if you have some kind of depression. I don't want to say anything wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with somebody if they're feeling suicidal. I myself used to be suicidal. I'm 41 now, so it was about 20 years ago. I went through some really, really dark times. And the fact that I made it through means that you can make it through. I look my perspective on anybody that has depression or is suicidal. As long as you're alive now, that just means that you are a strong person. You've been able to survive up until this point. The fact that you've been able to survive up until this point means that you can survive farther into the future. So with that being said, if you're not feeling suicidal, you can just feel free to continue the technique. If you are, call the number that's on the screen. So the technique, what this technique is, it's a technique where you're going to be able to simply laugh at your problems. So the gist of the technique, it all boils down to laughter. Have you ever watched maybe a comedian, maybe you watch a comedy, maybe a friend's told a joke, or something silly's happened, and you just busted into uncontrollable laughter? You know that kind of laugh, it's actually coming on me now. That contagious laughter, you just start laughing, you're balled over, and the more the more you try to stop laughing, it gets just more intense. Okay, so first things first, before we apply this technique, you need to think of a particular stressful situation you're dealing with. Maybe stress with a loved one, maybe stress with your kids, especially with quarantine, everybody's locked in, we're still not able to go to beaches. That's an example. Maybe dealing with a massive screw up of the Hawaii unemployment system, because that's been extremely stressful for me and a whole lot of other people. And then after you get that issue, you want to think on a scale, you want to rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. How much is it stressing you? 0 being nothing, 10 being, yes, I've had, the whole idea of I've had it up to here. So 0 or had it up to here, 10 being all the way up here. And then the next step, you want to think of a particular memory or an experience. When you think about it, you start getting really giddy, and you start laughing uncontrollably. You know that kind of laughter when you start laughing, the more you try to stop, it just keeps on fueling itself. It'll help if you can remember a time when you just were laughing uncontrollably. Maybe you're watching a funny movie, maybe a stand-up comedian, maybe you're hanging out with family. I know with my family, we get into some silly shenanigans. We'll be on the ground laughing. Oh, it's actually going to start happening now. I gotta be able to get through this. Oh, see what I'm talking about, the contagious laughter? I was actually thinking of memories of my family, just some of the silly stuff we're joking about, and it started to make me laugh. So that's what you want to do, is you want to find a memory where it just makes you like giddy and laughing. And then you close your eyes and you put yourself back there mentally. Remember everything you saw, everything you heard, and then just start to feel those giddy feelings in your body. So your eyes are closed, you're remembering everything you saw in that memory, everything you heard, and then start noticing the feelings. A couple things you can do to make this more intense is you can imagine making the colors even brighter. Imagine the sounds getting even louder. And let's say you've got images or movies out here of what's happening. Pull them in closer to you. That'll make it more intense so you can start like building up the feelings. So you do that, you can bring all of the images in closer. And also when you're doing this, you want to make sure you're actually in, you don't want to see it like you're looking at yourself. You actually want to be in the memory. So when you're at the point that you're laughing uncontrollably from this memory, you want to quickly shift into the context or the memory of these things that are stressing you. So let's say first you've got a memory where maybe you're hanging around with family, you're all like, you're cracking jokes on each other, and you're just laughing uncontrollably. When you're doing that and you're just laughing uncontrollably, very quickly you want to shift what you're seeing to where you're in the context of the stressful situation and you're laughing uncontrollably. You're just laughing uncontrollably. So it's almost like you're laughing at the absurdity of the situation. And then after you do that for a few seconds, step out of that memory and imagine as if you're watching it on a TV or a movie screen and still laugh. Just keep that laughter going, laughing uncontrollably about the absurdity of that situation. After a couple seconds of watching yourself on the screen, you're laughing at the absurdity, just bowl over like, ah! Just open your eyes and just shake it off. And take maybe 20, 30 seconds maybe to get up, kind of stretch, shake it off. So you want to shake off all the laughter feelings. And then close your eyes and imagine you're back in that situation that was stressful, that used to be stressful. And then notice how much different it is. And then rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. You might be hard to rate it. You might actually close your eyes, you think about it, and then you start laughing at the absurdity of it. So this is a very good technique to quickly change your perspective on issues. So you can use this with a wide variety of issues. Maybe you're having a stressful day at work, if you're an essential worker, and you can use this technique to laugh uncontrollably. Perhaps you want to laugh at the total absurdity of the protesters on the island that are putting everybody at risk. They're putting the kapunas at risk. They're putting my neighbor at risk, a almost 90-year-old we take care of. So maybe you want to laugh at the total absurdity of those protesters. COVIDiots, like Kawakami calls them out, which I like it. Have fun with this technique. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below or you can give me a call. My number is 808-639-4529. If you know anybody else that can use this program, you can drop a link on Facebook. And I look forward to everybody trying to use some of this time to improve your perspectives on everything. This is some unprecedented times and we need to make the best of it. Laugh as much as you can and love as much as you can. If you have any questions, reach out. Aloha.